Breaking news from the NFL, the season officially getting longer. Regular season moving from 16 to 17 games. That was expected, but the NFL just announced it and made it official this afternoon. An added game, and it will be a game against a team from the other conference. So if you finished first last year in the NFC, you'd play the team that finished first last year in the AFC. So we get Chiefs-Packers as one of those extra games this season. No added bye week, so we're just going one extra week here. One extra game for every team, one extra week. So instead of week 17 ending the season, it's week 18 that will end the season. And the preseason has been reduced to 3 games per team. For more on this, we want to bring in our insider, Jonathan Jones. JJ, we expected this, but what more can you tell us about what has become official today from the NFL?
Yeah, we expected it because it was written into last year's CBA, the one that was agreed upon by a very narrow margin among the players that gave NFL team owners the ability to extend the season to 17 games when they saw fit. And obviously we had a lot that we had to get through during the 2020 season, but once we started to get through it and understood that, hey, the playoffs are going to happen, the Super Bowl is going to happen, more than likely, what really became clear was these NFL team owners are going to push to get that 17th game in, because that extra game means a whole lot more money for the NFL team owners who lost out on up to $4 billion in revenue last season due to pandemic-related losses. So that's what became extremely clear late last year, early this year. And so it was really a fait accompli once we got to the owners' meetings today, and they extend to tomorrow, that these owners, the 32 of them, would vote yes on it. We don't have the official numbers on the vote in there, but it had long been expected to win with a majority vote, and now it is. So players can complain. I saw some of that over the weekend when it was reported as news that this was going to happen, even though we knew this was going to happen. If you voted yes to the CBA last year, then you voted yes to the 17 games happening when the owners decided for it to happen. So that's just the way that it goes. And now, of course, you have that. And then also, Chris, what they're planning to do is expand internationally. This is a league that very much wants to get to that $25 billion a year threshold. That's a goal that Roger Goodell set out for the league very early in his tenure, and league revenues have grown over the years. Well, what you have to do is, as you continue to expand within America, you have to expand your reach. And we know that teams have been playing in the United Kingdom and Mexico. The league is also hoping to extend that reach to Canada, to South America, presumably Brazil, and then also other parts of Europe, including but not limited to Germany. So we saw a very robust broadcast rights deal, and now we're seeing the NFL planning a very long-term sort of global takeover, if you will, of other territories.
What's that going to look like globally in the future? Because we're used to seeing, a handful of games take place in London each year. What is it going to look like, say, 2, 3, 4 years down the road?
Yeah, you can only have up to 4 neutral site international games. That's what the league is going to cap that at for the time being. And I would expect that there to be 2 international games happening this upcoming season, 2021, probably taking place in Europe, probably taking place in England, because the league knows those sites very well. There had been some talk over the years of expanding to China. That's a really difficult thing to do from a travel perspective, from a time zone perspective. So we're going to see how they can work out something, again, a Brazil, a Canada, Mexico down the road. You still have to figure out COVID-19 restrictions in certain places. And each team is going to be forced every 8 years to have at least 1 game in some other country. So that's a new sort of twist on this, and this is important, again, for the league to continue to expand its reach and bring in as much revenue as possible.
What went into the decision to on how to treat that added game, that 17th game, and that they're going to match up teams that finish in the same place in their respective conferences? So if you finished second in the NFC, you'd play the team that finished second in the AFC the year before. How did they come about?
Yeah, that's right. And the formula's a little convoluted, but what you're going to have is home and away against, well, you're going to have the same formula for the first 16 games as we have, and then it's going to be one inter-conference game based on the prior year standings on a rotating 4-year cycle. And so the first place team from one division against the first place team from the opposite conference division that they were not scheduled to play in that year. And then those divisions are going to rotate each year. And so, you know, you can go ahead and look at it right now, and you got the Chiefs and the Packers coming up next year. There are a load of fantastic games on the slate, some that I've already posted. The Seahawks and Steelers are one. You know, you're going to have some fun with the Eagles and Jets as well. So that's what we're looking at for 2021. The AFC team in 2021 will be the home team, and then next year you're going to see the NFC teams be the home team in that 17th game. So going to be a lot of fun here coming up.
How is this whole thing, this 17th game and everything that comes with it, how do you expect this to be viewed, not just in and around the league, but in and around this country and this game we love so much?
Well, it's interesting because there were a couple of players who worked with their representation to work out in their contracts during free agency, hey, if and when the league goes to a 17th game, and I believe Tom Brady is among these players, when the league goes to 17 games, I want to be paid a little extra money. And so basically you take the base salary, you divide it by 17, and then you add that onto, or divide it by 16, and then you add that onto what the base salary would be on a normal 16-game regular season salary. So we saw that a little bit from players. The other thing is when it goes to 17 games, obviously the money is going to be greater. All of this is about revenue. There's no question about that. And so players are going to get a higher percentage of all revenue in the NFL. I believe it goes from 48% to 48.5%. And when we're talking about 16, 18, up to $20 billion per year, that 0.5% is going to be a lot of money and pay for a lot of other things. I know we've talked a lot, Chris, over the last year about the depressed salary cap and how teams aren't going to have any money. Well, that's not going to be the case once these broadcast rights deals kick in, once these players are getting another 0.5% on the all revenue pie. So if you want to know why it's being done, listen, you can't really say with a straight face that they're playing more football to help the health and safety of players. You don't put yourself out in harm's way for 70 snaps a game and say that you're actually going to come out of this healthier than you were before that. But you at least become richer than you were before that. And that's for the players, and that's, of course, for the team owners.
All right, added regular season game. They took away one preseason game, so 3 preseason games and now 17 regular season games for each and every team. Jonathan Jones with us here on HQ breaking down the news. If you're wondering about fantasy, not going to change much. The regular season is just going to expand by a week. Regular season, weeks 1 through 14. Playoffs, weeks 15 through 17 in most leagues. They're going to be breaking all this down and much, much more on the Pick 6 podcast. Follow today. Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.